I just showed that picture of the. This is from the movie Jaws. Now it's celebrating its 50th anniversary. It came out. We're almost there. I think it was June. I forget.
23?
20th. Yeah, I think it's the 20th. Anyway, we're right at the 50th anniversary, and they have been. A lot of channels have been showing it a lot. And there was one photo that I saw yesterday saying that they shot it. It's when the little Kittner boy at the beginning is
on his float,
attacked. And what they do is they show like a geyser of blood coming up. But before that, they had the shark chomping down on him. They cut that part because they thought it was too much for the audience to handle. It's a pretty good looking shot, though. Obviously.
I mean, the black and white still is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Really, because it shows how enormous.
I mean, most of the entire head of the shark is out of the water,
right, and just coming right down on the little kid who's there on his float.
Is that a dummy on the float, or is it a stunt man or stunt boy?
I don't know. It looks like him.
It looks like a real person.
Looks like him. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have the. It doesn't look like a dummy.
That is one of the factoids I was reading. There were just a load of factoids about the movie Jaws for the 50th anniversary. And one of them was it was pre-CGI, and they consider it like the last one. There were no effects used whatsoever. It was all just everything was shot. It was real, and the shark itself was a machine. It was a robot. That's the thing, too. It took them so long to shoot the movie because it never worked.
There are scenes of real sharks, but you can clearly tell they were shot in other oceans.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. In fact, great factoid here. They had real shark footage of a shark attacking an empty cage. Mm-hmm. There's a scene at the end where Richard Dreyfuss's character Hooper goes down in the water in a shark cage, and he escapes the cage, and the shark just goes crazy on the cage, just messes it up, and they reel the cage back in and think, oh, he must be dead. Well, he's actually alive.
He's hiding on the bottom.
Right. He was supposed to die. He dies in the book. And he was going to die in the movie. Only Roy Scheider was going to live. But they had such great footage of the shark attacking the empty cage that they wanted to show that. And in order to show it, Spielberg said, well, we have to make him live.
You can tell that's a real shark because it's wiggling in a way that no machine could.
And Spielberg said they got that footage, and he's like, we have to use this. And exactly. And they didn't know why that shark went so crazy on that cage, but it did. And so they used it. And you're right; it's clearly not the mechanical shark that they use in the entire movie.
But when you're in the theater seeing it for the first time, you barely notice.
Exactly. You have to go back and really parse it to go, oh wait, that's different.
There was no Shark Week. You heard about sharks, but you never saw them like that.
I found this really interesting. Also, there's a scene in it where Ben Gardner's boat, they find it, and it's
half sunken, right?
Yep. It is, and they go out and find it, and it turns out the shark has attacked the boat, and Hooper goes down and finds the tooth the size of a shot glass in the hull of Ben Gardner's boat. Of course, the mayor goes, love to prove that, wouldn't you?
Because he drops it.
Yeah, our favorite mayor.
Oh, yeah. Well, they shot that scene. Then, right after the reason he dropped the tooth was the head of Ben Gardner pops out of the hole. To me, the scariest scene in the movie.
Oh, jump scare.
That's a jump scare. That is a jump scare.
The whole theater, I mean,
God.
I was a teenager watching that, and the whole theater just about died.
It is the jump scare in the movie. Now, there are more classic scenes.
The chum. Because that's when the shark really appears.
Yeah, when he says you're going to need a bigger boat. That's more classic scene. The Kittner boy death is probably a more classic scene, but that one causes you to scream when it's like, and there's the head, and you're like, oh!
His eyes all bugged out.
Oh my God, they do a
Dead
great
green
job.
Skin.
Yeah. Well, this is the factoid. The movie was done, and Spielberg watched it and said, we need one good jump scare in here, and they went back weeks later to one of the producers' swimming pools in L.A., and that's where that scene was shot. Was he was down in the bottom, deep end of a swimming pool, and there was
that's cool.
There was the head.
We're going to be shooting a scene in the swimming pool this afternoon, darling. I need you to go to the spa.
They did. Yeah, they did all of that. The mayor was played by Murray Hamilton. They chose him to play the part as the sleazy mayor because he had a resemblance to Richard Nixon.
Well, that's just rude.
I think so, too. You talk about rude now. That's not right.
Did they cast him right after the resignation?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. The movie came out in 75.
Yeah.
He resigned in August of 74. They're like, get him.
The only thing I think that might be ruder through the years is the Kittner boy's mother. They're calling her, of course, the world's oldest mother.
It's fact. She looks 70.
Yeah.
He's 10.
Mhm. And that's really gained steam through the years. I
It
see
truly
that.
has.
She
I
is.
see memes about her a lot online. Like, well, here's the world's oldest mother.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
That and Chris Demm and I have pointed this out. It hasn't taken off the same way, but in Sleeping with the Enemy, Julia Roberts' character is 23 and her mom is 90.
Yes. Yes.
And decrepit.
And has to go to the old folks' home.
Yeah.
and she just cannot even hardly move.
I don't know where she is.
I know.
Different ocean theme movie.
Yeah. But you're right about Jaws. I mean, when she walks up and she's got all the black on after the Kittner boy bites it or gets bitten, she looks.
Oh, yeah, after the funeral.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, she looks 85 years old. Yeah.
Did we lose her to COVID? She died in 2020. Lee Fierro.
Wow, good.
And
memory. Wow.
I remember we talked about her because
Yeah.
she died in 2020. I don't know if it was because of COVID, though.
She was in her 90s at that point.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a good story about her. I believe the character that played little Alex Kittner owned a restaurant on Martha's Vineyard, and she went in there one day after they hadn't seen each other for years and years and said, I tell Kittner his mother's here. And he comes out of the back, and they have a big reunion and everything. It's pretty cool, you know.
And I don't know, do we know how many times they shot the slap? Because that's a real slap.
Yeah, she slapped him. I don't know how many times, but she slapped him right across the jaws. I don't know. That's a good question, how many times they shot it. 6 shark attack victims in the movie, including the dog, Pippet. And that's just implied.
Okay, so
Pippet.
young lady
Yeah.
in the start, Pippet the dog, Ben Gardner,
Kittner boy.
Kintner boy,
Guy
Quint.
Quint, and the guy who loses his leg in the pond. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
He's number
yeah.
6. He's the one you don't hear about that much.
Yeah, the guys on the pier survive.
Yeah, with
Who are
the
fishing at night.
with the roast.
yeah,
With it.
with the pot roast.
This is my. That's another thing. Okay, this is my wife's holiday roast, which I always thought meant Christmas, and it's the 4th of July, so they're saving that roast for 6 months, unless they're having a roast for the 4th of July,
Maybe.
which seems odd. You know, that's more burgers.
Not a traditional
that's
menu.
burgers and hot dogs, but. As he throws it in, he goes, this is my wife's good holiday roast. And he throws it in. And they're, by the way, dressed like it's 40 degrees, which it was. You know,
Yeah.
they shot it in the spring, and it was really, really cold there. So, yeah, those are the 6 deaths. And Biggie and I agree. That scene where that guy in that boat gets killed is an underrated scene.
Great underrated scene.
In the pond. Right before that, when the Kittner boy gets killed, they use a special technique to zoom in on Roy Scheider.
Iconic.
And it's phenomenal.
Mhm.
That is an
Is the camera on a
amazing scene.
track or is his chair on a track? I can't remember how maybe
I
the
think
camera.
The camera was on the
Yeah.
track, and
'Cause
they
everything fades out of focus except his Scheider's face. It's spectacular.
it was shot using they simultaneously zoomed in and trucked out, which is a technique Spielberg borrowed from Alfred Hitchcock.
That's Hitchcockian.
Hitchcock used it in Vertigo, and so they truck out and zoom in at the same time, and it is an amazing effect. And they play the music just right. It's like because he's seen it. He just saw the blood geyser come out of the water. I got these factoids all week, folks. I got factoids all
I might
week.
watch it tonight. This has me
Why don't you?
geared up.
Why don't you? Let's watch it tonight.
You can stream it. Peacock right now is where you can stream it, and they are
Okay.
pushing it hard.
Okay. I'm watching it tonight, and so are you. We're going to know some
All right,
stuff.
let's
about-
do it.
We're going to know some stuff about Jaws tomorrow, okay? Chris Demm will watch it, too, if his wife can get him on Peacock.
Oof.
Ugh, that's iffy. Yeah.
Bad broadcasting here.
I gotta watch Jaws with the boys.
Not
tonight.
Not tonight. Should be playing the Jaws
Spandau
thing.
Ballet.
Playing Spandau Ballet. Bad broadcasting.
That's bad.
It's bad broadcasting. I hit the wrong button, and then I couldn't go back.
This much is true.
Why? They're wondering why.